Okay, we're going to start out thinking about children's ideas. So we have talked about a lot of these in the past. So if you've been to these before, I'm not going to spend too much time on the things that we've talked about before, but just to run through them. So we've talked previously about running a live nativity where people can come along, they can watch people from your congregation or from your organisation kind of act out small parts of the nativity and really get involved. If you've got some real animals, all the better, but not everyone has access to live animals. If you have a local school that you have access to, whether your church is linked directly to a local school, or if you have one that you could ask if you're able to go in and to do an assembly at Christmas time, I'm sure they would really appreciate that. And it gives you a really good opportunity to build relationships with them. If you have a local school, again, that you could maybe donate a prize for their Christmas events, I'm sure they'd be very grateful. Maybe donate a book or a Bible or something that they can give out amongst their children. I'm sure they would be really, really thankful for that. Maybe if they're holding a fair and they have stalls that are available, your church or you individually could pay for a small stall and run a game that would also have a prize of a book or some Christian resource. Christmas parties, if your church runs kids club, I'm sure that they'll be running a Christmas party. So think through how you can be using those, A, to be sharing the gospel and to make sure it's clear, and B, to be able to send them away with something that's going to remind them of the gospel after that party. And the new one for this year, which we've not talked about before, is a kids carol service. And so at this point, I'm going to invite to unmute himself Graham Albans, because this is one of the things that he's going to be talking to us about this morning, kids carol service.
Morning, everybody. Massive encouragement that there's so many people here thinking about how to reach communities and families. Let me tell you about Carols for Kids. So over the last few years, we've run a kids carol service. The idea being that during the week, our church runs quite a few different children's groups, from toddler groups right through to tweens and primary age up to teenagers. And we really do meet a lot of people in our community that way. Ed Drew from Faith in Kids will tell you, and Mel will give a whole lot of information to back this kind of thing up, is that he would say that 85% of toddlers in the UK are connected with a church-based toddler group, which is an amazing stat. It means we have a wide net of people, to meet people in our children's groups. And so to do something that feeds them into something we're doing with our church services at Christmas, we started putting on a Carols for Kids, which was essentially, can we use one service to make super fun, it's like cross panto with carols, we'll do some crafts afterwards, and we'll send them away with a little pack, and they can get involved with some games and quizzes, and we'll put a video on, and we'll weave the gospel message into the narrative of the play. We'll use characters that tell the Christmas gospel message. We'll have someone perhaps just comparing that and hosting it, and Bible readings, and we'll get kids involved with perhaps doing one of the prayers or a Bible reading. Or this year we're going to attempt getting every child in the building onto the stage to join in with a song at the end. So just something super fun that just gives us that pathway from all our kids clubs into a church service. Now, this started a few years ago. So we have 2 meetings in a morning, 1 meeting in an evening, regular church throughout the year. We thought, can we experiment with this on our first morning service? Like, took it away at 9 o'clock. Let's just see how it goes. And it went okay. And they very kindly gave us both morning services. And we just saw quite quickly a huge number of people, visitors, a huge number of guests, non-Christian visitors come. And so now that has grown over the past, I think, 5 years. That's grown into now 3 Carols for Kids services, and then our extra kind of evening service as well. But what I'm trying to say is that it's been a slow burn. We kindly had a church leadership who was willing to let us experiment with that morning service. And then each year we'd feed back and look at, okay, was that an easy invite for our church families? Was it reaching people? What were the stats like in terms of visitors? Is it worth carrying on? And so kindly they've let that grow. And across all 3 services, there's around 50% non-Christian visitors come to that service. That's a huge opportunity for us, just to weave in the gospel message in a fun way, that if my 2-year-old son gets something out of it because it's big and visual and fun, brilliant. And if my 9-year-old niece gets something out of it because she's understood what the gifts were that the 3 kings brought and what that significance that has for Christ, then fantastic. So that's something that we've had license to experiment with. I would say that's not an easy, quick win. No one's launching 3 services this Christmas, are they? But if there's a seed that could be planted with church leaders, with outreach teams, they go, can we just try this? Can we just review it over the years, see how it grows? I just would really encourage you to think about that 85% of children under 5 who are connected with church toddler groups somewhere. There's a huge opportunity. There's other things that we did to kind of feed into that. Beth and Tim, I don't know if you kind of want me to mention those boxes at this point, because the way we wanted to engage our whole church family in Christmas invites was we realized that, especially coming out of COVID, we realized that everyone needs to get on the pitch. So we wanted to equip every household at our church with an easy relational bridge building thing to give to a neighbor, a colleague, a sports team mate, whoever lived nearby. We call them a blessing box, right? Cheesy name, don't call them blessing boxes, but essentially a blessing box where we bought on bulk these cardboard boxes, and in them went a bit of mince pies, a bit of cheap chocolate. We would put in like a book from 10 of those, a short one that people could just really accessibly read and buy on bulk and get rid of loads of those. We had invites for our Christmas services in those, but they acted as invites, but they were just relational bridge building things. And so you could go, look, here's a Christmas present. Here's just we're thinking of you from our church. We stick a sticker on top of the church, and we're thinking of you. Let's just get these out into our streets and our communities. And so many wonderful stories came back of people who said, look, I've never even had a conversation with my neighbor before. And because you gave me something just to start a conversation, just to say, we're thinking of you. There's a little treat in there for you. Happy Christmas. Also, if you want to come and sing some carols with us, there's a little invite and some information. See you later. And that's it. And so we equipped everyone on to get on the pitch. So look, did we see, I think we did something like 250 boxes. Look, did we see 250 people come through our doors at Christmas? No. But did 250 people build a bridge with a neighbor or a colleague in some tiny way that maybe just opened up a conversation, even to let them know that the church was doing something? Yes. So for me, the kids carol service is like a long, slow burn, long-term project. The blessing boxes, the equipping everyone with something to invite and bless their neighbor with, is like a quick, easy win. They worked out about £2 to £3 per box. You can buy stuff on bulk. You can go down to your local wholesalers like Booker or Costco and buy this kind of thing on bulk. But that was easy, and we got everyone involved. The picture there just so whole everyone involved with packing these things and be able to take one away as well. So I hope there's at least a seed of inspiration there somewhere.
Thank you so much, Graham. So one of the things that Graham mentioned was some of the things that you could put in the boxes or give away at the services. So we're going to run through some of our Christmas things for kids. Now, these are more the kind of things that you would give to your own children or your families. So in Advent, we've got Advent calendars. We have a set of devotions called Tracing Glory, which was brought out last year. And alongside the book, which is the small red one, there is also an activity book that helps you to create a craft for each day, if that's your kind of thing. And so we found some families and some churches did this as a whole, so that they ordered a bulk amount of them, and every family in the church did have a go at making the ornaments. Maybe they didn't make all of them, maybe they just made some of them, but it was a way to engage with the children throughout Advent. One of my personal favourites is Advent candles. I only started doing this about 6 or 7 years ago, but every year now our family have an Advent candle in the middle of the table for dinner. We read the name of Jesus that's listed on it, and we just find that's a really, really great opportunity. Brand new this year are Christmas dippers. If you've not seen our devotional dippers, it's like a little pot, and you pull out a dipper from it, and it has something to read in the Bible, a point to make, a question to discuss, and then a suggestion of how you can pray. And so for this year, they're brand new. They're Christmas dippers, talking about Jesus. So maybe that's an option for you or your family. And then again, for the slightly younger ones, the toddlers, we have this craft book where literally each page is card printed with the activity. You perforate, you pull it out, and then you have a go at the craft. Do them all at once if you want to, if you're so inclined, or you could do them each day during Advent. When we talk about our giveaway books, we always endeavour to have books that are really as low as we can possibly make them in price. And so each of these books you can buy in bulk for just £1 a copy. Just to highlight a few things which might be helpful for those doing the services, When Santa Learned the Gospel has a free 6-minute read-through video from the author on YouTube. So you don't have to pay for that. You can just go onto YouTube, you can take a copy, and you can use that during your service as the story gets read through. The King and the Shepherd Boy, we had a great relationship with Go Chatter, and King and the Shepherd Boy, there are resources that you can get from the Go Chatter website. There is a small fee, but it's totally worth it. So if you want to theme your service around that, you can do that. Love Came Down, we've got a series bundle available. So there is a storybook, the board book, and even an activity book. So if you've got a lot of different age ranges that you cover with your children's clubs, you can theme it around that particular book. One of our favourites that people always come back to is the Star Maker. So the Star Maker is just a little Christmas story talking about how God is creator and Jesus is creator, but made to be a baby. Longest Wait and Shush Don't Wake the Baby, they're also designed to tell a Christmas story, but in a very simple way, suitable for toddlers. We have had many requests for board books because, you know, for those toddler groups, people say, well, board books would be better, simple words, short phrases, and really robust. So we have a variety of board books that are available. And this year's brand new one is called God's Rescuer. And specifically for toddler groups, we've created a 3-minute toddler sing-along. And so we're just going to show you a very brief preview of what that is. Now, to get this toddler sing-along, you only have to buy 10 copies of the book, and then you'll be sent a link to this, and you can play it in your toddler group, sing along, read through the story together. So just let's take a listen to this taster.
Going on a journey to see the baby. We're going on a journey to see the King. He is the rescuer, God's deliverer.
Yeah, if you are interested in using that, that's just a taster of the video, but it runs through the words from some of the book, and also a lovely, very catchy, I'll give you that warning now, I can't stop singing it. It's a real earworm, the tune there, but it's a lovely, simple song to sing with toddlers. Very quickly, because I know we have talked about these before, if you want activity books, especially for those who you may have already given out some of these books to in the past, or maybe you've got multiple services and multiple opportunities, then maybe consider alongside the book to read an activity book. So we've got the activity book I've already mentioned, which is great for toddlers, or the Characters of Christmas colouring book for toddlers. When we get into that infant junior age, the Tracy and Glory craft book is a great choice, or the Love Came Down activity book, which is like colouring, crosswords, word searches, spot the difference. And then the juniors would be great for the nativity activities, which is again is a mixture of different activities, but also telling the Christmas story. This year, a brand new book is Night Before Christmas. Now, you have almost certainly heard the book The Night Before Christmas, the classic, but this is kind of a parody on that. So it uses some of the phrases from that book, but takes you into the Christmas story. And so we see up to their feet to see what was the matter. Well, that's the shepherds in this book. So it's using what is a well-known story, but rewriting it through the Christmas story. These are slightly bigger than our usual giveaway books, and so the price reflects that. So you might not be buying these to give away out for your whole group, but maybe you've got a small group, you've got a small number of children who you want to give these to, or as a personal gift to a family friend or to your neighbours. This is a really good choice for this Christmas.
Thanks, Beth. And as we continue in, we're just going to introduce Mel now. Mel, can you just introduce yourself a little bit, Mel? Who are you and what do you do?
Morning, everybody. Really nice to be with you. My name is Mel Lacy. I'm the director of Growing Young Disciples, which is an agency that's designed to support, equip and resource anyone and everyone who's seeking to raise the next generation for Jesus. So pretty focused on training and resourcing local churches and other organizations as well.
Fantastic, thank you. And so given your remit, particularly with Christmas in view and the holiday season, how do we encourage and equip and disciple our young people to not get caught up with the Christmas madness and to focus in on faith in Jesus?
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Because lots of our young people are caught up in the consumerism and the materialism of the season. I guess what we need to be doing is thinking now about what we're going to do, particularly during Advent. I think it's an easy kind of period that's given to us that we can use well with our teenagers. I think there's a number of things very practically we can do. We will all have teenagers who are at different stages of faith or not believing in the Lord Jesus yet. I think those who are committed to the Lord Jesus, there's a number of really exciting things we could do. The first is think about the music we can encourage them with. Our teenagers love music and they're streaming music all the time. So let's get some Spotify playlists going. The second thing is, did you know that most teenagers don't watch TV anymore? They spend lots of time on YouTube. So get some YouTube playlists of little Christmas messages going that they could watch one every day, similar with the music. Think about, is there a group of young people that you could read a book with? So these would perhaps be slightly more thinking young people who are engaging and growing in their faith. Read a book over the 23 days of Advent. One that I'd suggest is The Christmas We Didn't Expect by David Mathis. I think that would be a great book to read with some of our thinking teenagers. I think also, and I'd probably start this just after half term, so early November, one of the things we see, particularly with our teenagers, but I think we train lots of people in this way in our churches, is that we equip them to be inviters of others rather than evangelists to others. And I love to think about our young people being the evangelists. One of the things we know about Gen Z particularly is that they're much more peer responsive. So they'll respond to their peers before they'll respond to someone in authority over them. And we see that, don't we, in people like Greta Thunberg motivating millions of teenagers. So think about how our teenagers can reach their peers. And one of the things that I think is really exciting is training them in apologetics. So obviously, this is a tough time to stand for Jesus. It's a tough time to share your faith. You face into cancel culture and all that brings. And if we just suddenly say to our teenagers on the kind of 10th or 15th of December, right, here you go, share your faith, they're going to be like, how do I do that? Whereas actually, if we did a series for 8 weeks from just after half term, of apologetic training, apologetic cafes. It's much easier for our young people to share their faith if they've heard themselves articulating it in advance. So just trying it with their own friends at youth group, perhaps then trying it with one friend in school, but just giving a little bit of our regular time with them week by week to do some of the apologetic questions that emerge around Christmas. They could do a research project even this side of half term and ask their friends what they want to know about Christmas. What do Christians believe? So get them involved in that, help them to think about training others and evangelizing others rather than just inviting others. I wonder, could we use Advent? This is a bit more of a commitment, but particularly for churches that have paid workers, to do a 10 or 15-minute devotional with the young people every day on Zoom. So set a time every day that we get together, read a passage, pray together. Can we write some prayer diaries for our young people to pray through over the Advent period? I wonder also if we can encourage families. So one of the things that we know is family devotions are a struggle for lots of families anyway. It particularly is hard for teenage families. I think parents feel ill-equipped and are not quite sure what to do. So let's have a think about how we encourage the parents of teenagers to prepare their young people. So we don't want to do all of that for them. We want to support them in their role as the disciplers of children. So equip them during the season of Advent to encourage their teenagers. Yeah, I think that's a lot of my teenage ideas. I've got a few other ideas which I can share, Tim, if we've got time.
Absolutely, please. Another couple of minutes would be great.
Let me just wave this around at you. This is what God wants for Christmas. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's a family life resource. I've had this probably for 20 years now. It's still available, but I noticed today as well that it's available in a print version, which might be easier for people. And I've used it in so many different ways over the years. It has served me. It's just a little pack. It comes with little gifts. And it tells a story. It comes with a narrated storybook as well. I notice on the downloadable version it has a scavenger hunt, which is good for families to do. You've probably noticed the phenomenon around Christmas Eve boxes, which is a new thing, much more popular in America than here, but it's coming here now. So if you go into Primark or something like that, you'll see loads of Christmas Eve boxes available to buy. Let's think about doing Christmas Eve boxes for our families to take home. So with spiritual content, with some hot chocolate packs, some sweets, and a devotion for the family to do on Christmas Eve, preparing them for the next day. So again, just having the right focus about what the day is. Let's think about doing a Narnia event. So there's some great examples out there if you Google a Narnia event, but I love to think about family evangelism, so welcoming families rather than just children or young people. And something like a Narnia event is really exciting, where you deck out your building like the Narnia story, and the young people move, the families move through the experience and hear bits of the gospel, essentially. I even heard of a church that built a river and used blue fairy liquid and put people in rubber dinghies and pulled them through the experience. So that's a little bit over the top perhaps, but something like that. I wonder if some of us are in a position to do drive-through nativities, actually. So just think about how we make it slightly more accessible. I know that might be a kind of weird suggestion, but what does it look like for people to have that first contact as they're driving through, and to stop at different points, perhaps in our church park, car park or wherever, and to hear a little bit of the gospel story. We could do a Hunt the Leader Christmas style, get people dressed up as the characters of Christmas and get people moving around our towns. Christmas tree devotion, so something to do when you're putting up the Christmas tree again. I think some of our challenge is to reclaim traditions that have been owned by the world and redeem them for the gospel. I'll stop there, Tim. I've got other ideas, but I'll shush.
There are loads of resources out there that we'd love to point you towards. Here are a few, particularly thinking of teens. Some of you may have seen The Weirdest Nativity. It's one of our little adult giveaway books, but it's brilliant for teenagers. It approaches it from a slightly different angle. It comes through Revelation, and Andy Satch and John Gemmell are fantastic authors and are well able to turn it to Christmas. There's also Letters for Exiles. It's not a Christmas book, but Christmas is a great time to give away a gift to teens. So do have a look out for that. And Roadmap to Jesus as well, which shows people the big purpose of the Old Testament. It's a fantastic gift to give away to teens, maybe as a group. If you want something a little bit more special and maybe for students, the student subscription box. This is a new thing that we've just started recently. So how it works is there are 3 packages that get sent out during the year, and it's intended that you buy it for a new student, and they get the 3 bundles through their year, and then the next year we change the books and they get 3 more bundles, and then the next year again we change the books, they get 3 more bundles, and so they build up a library of 6, 12, 18 books over the 3 years. All the kind of classics that we want everybody to be able to read as they go. Yeah, and kind of beyond kind of kids and teens, what can we be doing as churches throughout the kind of Christmas holiday period? Well, during Advent, get your folks reading Advent books together. We provide a range of Advent devotionals, and they're a brilliant resource to get people pointed towards. The new one for this year is Comfort and Joy, which is on Isaiah. It's Matt Searles, so it's brilliantly well written as well. But we also have a range of ones that we've published in the past as well. Do have a look at those. And maybe that reading group isn't a get together because actually it's every day and that's too much, but it's a once a week, let's discuss the thing that we've read over the last 7 days, or it's a WhatsApp group. And you encourage people to message, what did you see? What encouraged you specifically from the passage today? It might be that you could put on a Christmas craft event, something with a gospel message. That would be a fantastic opportunity. I am not a crafty person at all. For all those things, I look to Bethan or to my wife Hazel. They're the crafty people in my life. But those guys can gather together a group of crafty people, and people love doing Christmas activities, don't they? So put on a Christmas craft event and then give away a little evangelistic book. At the end, we've got a whole range of Christmas evangelism books. We do it every year, almost. And Light of the World's the new one for this year, looking at the Gospel of John and Jesus coming as the light of the world. It takes 30 minutes to read, maybe, if you're an average reader, but it very clearly gets the gospel across in it. With things like that, you could give a gift book to everyone in the fellowship and get them to then pass it on to someone else. Something like what we've already heard chatted about with Graham, equip people to be able to share the gospel by just passing something on. And maybe that's something where you encourage them to take the evangelistic book and pair it with a little gift of their own. And we can do so many other things. We can have church family meals, gather together, go to a restaurant or have a meal as a small group maybe. And those are great opportunities just to focus in a little bit on the message of Christmas, so that we don't get lost in all of the fuss and the faff that the world around so often ends up in. If you're wanting to equip people, if you're wanting to encourage people, maybe you're thinking, in our church we don't have an outreach mindset, maybe get some resources now that will encourage people to think ahead. Evangelistic Living, it's Roger's little book. It's a fantastic little book to give away to help people to see how to live in an evangelistic way. Before You Share Your Faith, likewise, the one on the right is a particular favourite of mine, Matt Smithhurst, just really helpfully helping us to see how to engage with the people around us. And we have a whole range of others there that are more specific as well. And yeah, let me hand back over to Bethan.
So one of the things that Roger mentioned a few years ago, and now it's kind of just a standard in our church, is care home cards. Getting a team of people from our church, we buy a bunch of cards, a bunch of tracts to put in them, and then we have a team of people who take away just one pack of cards and a list of first names from a care home, and then they write them a personal message. It could be the only Christmas card that person might receive this year. And so what a great opportunity to just reach out. And the care homes that we've contacted are very happy to provide the first names for you to write a card for. So that's such an easy thing, and something that now is kind of a standard for us. You could arrange to attend the local light switch on, giving out invitations for your services or mince pies or hot chocolate. If you have a Christmas event that they could be part of as well, then why not get involved? Have a stall again at the Christmas market if that's an option for you, and take that opportunity to give out resources, to make good contacts with people, and invite them along to your services. Most of us now receive a lot of deliveries from a courier or the postman. If you have a porch or somewhere that's covered, that you could leave a little box with gifts or treats, something that obviously points them to Jesus, but just something that says, you know, I appreciate you, I'm thankful for you. What a wonderful opportunity. If you don't have a porch, you could have a little stack of pre-wrapped books and a little invitation or a thank you card, so that when they knock on your door and you receive that parcel, you can just say, you know, Happy Christmas, I've just got you a little something. And it's so well received. They do appreciate being appreciated when they're under so much stress at that time of year, when they've got more deliveries than they can cope with. And I know my DPD driver by name, so I'll say, oh, it's so great to see you, and you know, I've just got this for you. Can even write the card with his name on it. But it is just another opportunity to be reaching out. We heard of a church that did a gift wrap event. So their church is central in their local area, and so when people go out shopping, they're very close to the church, and they can just put a sign outside that says, you know, free gift wrapping. That gives people an opportunity to come into the church, which maybe they've never done before, to just sit and have a tea or coffee, have some Christian resources lying around for them to pick up and have a look through, invitations for services, and then you just, you know, wrap a gift for them. Not to be sexist, but from speaking to these people, it was more men that had turned up at these events. But again, it's a great opportunity to be building bridges in your community. And so if you've got a central location like that, or you could even use a central location. Another church actually asked their local Wetherspoons, could they do it in there? And they agreed. They even provided free tea and coffee, but I can't promise they'll do that for everybody who asks. But they used a central location because their church wasn't central, and they built that event to just be a small outreach into the community and to invite people along. So maybe there's something there that you've not thought of before, and it could be an opportunity for you. When we talk about giving out cards or doing those things, it's great to have a range of tracts and small booklets which are easy to give out, and they're very affordable. So our tracts cost from just 6p each, and these small booklets cost from just 25p each. So it's a great way of giving out something very small. You can pop them in Christmas cards, but they're very clear on the gospel, a clear gospel explanation in them. This year's new Christmas tract is called All I Want for Christmas, and we'll get Roger to speak about that in just a moment. But they go very well with the Christmas cards. Now this year we have a range of charity Christmas cards. In the past, when we've printed our own cards, people have said, oh, is the money going to charity? Is there any way of us diverting some of the funds to charity? And so we listened, and this is what we've done this year. And the three charities that the cards are going to be contributing to are the Yorkshire Camps, the Oak Centre and Acorn. which are all youth camps which share the gospel. So I'm going to invite Hannah to unmute herself, Hannah Peace from Yorkshire Camps, to just explain what will the money be going towards that's raised from these Christmas cards.
Yeah, big thank you to everyone at 10 of those for these charity cards, and for you guys who hopefully are going to buy them. Yeah, we're really excited. We have a number of young people who come on our camps. We run them throughout the year, and every camp that we have is intentional about sharing Jesus. So it's not just about having fun, though that obviously is a major part. It's really about sharing Jesus, speaking Jesus, sharing from the Bible, but also sharing our lives with them as well as we sit and we eat. But obviously camps are expensive, and people don't have a lot of disposable income, particularly those who come from non-Christian homes. That is not their priority for their parents to be sending them on a Christian camp. And so all of us would run a bursary fund where people can apply and just say, I can't afford the full cost, or I can't afford any of the cost. And we would seek to meet that so that nobody misses out on camp. And so this money, or a portion of it, is going to go between us all to help with those bursary funds and really help people who are from non-Christian homes who wouldn't normally come on camp to hear about Jesus.
Thanks, Hannah. Now, you are also involved in a new project that we've got called 10 Giving. So 10 Giving is a way that we use the profits from 10 of those to bless charities and organisations who are sharing the gospel. Now, we are encouraging people to get involved with 10 Giving. In the past, it's not been an official charity. It's been something that's been going on in the background. When organisations have approached us, we've been able to use funds to support them. But it's now launched as a charity. We've got a website, which is 10giving.org.uk. And people can now give towards the work of 10 Giving, but they can also apply for funds to support the work that they're doing, for gospel resources to be used. And in the past, you have been able to receive some resources. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so 10 Giving, through 10 of those, has been able to give us a lot of books, a lot of different resources, all sorts, from devotionals to fictional to kind of guerrilla Christian kind of books. And every child that comes on our camps is offered a range of these books, and they can choose one to take home. And it's just a way really of extending what we can offer on camp, that they can take something back. Again, particularly for non-Christians, they're taking something back into their home to grow their learning, grow their understanding, and hopefully grow their love for Jesus. So yeah, that's been a massive help to us as an organisation.
That's great. And so we're really sharing this with people today, because it could be that you as an individual would like to support the work of 10 Giving, to support those opportunities to get the gospel out where it wouldn't otherwise be able to go because of cost restraints. But we're also asking that if you have something in mind that you don't think that your church are able to pay for, then you can apply. So through the website, there's a way to apply for funds, and they can be given to a church, to an organisation, or even an individual. So if as an individual you go out doing street work, or if you've got a project that you would like to apply for funding for these resources, then please do check out the website and apply. But also we do ask that you would pray for this. We ask that you pray for the resources that are being given out, that they would be a great opportunity for people to encounter Jesus, and also that the work and the team who make the choices, the trustees who make the choices about which organisations will receive that money, that they would have wisdom in doing that. So please do pray for 10 Giving and share with other people who you think might be able to benefit from that. We tried to put together a really unbelievable Christmas giveaway box to enable anybody to be able to give the gospel this Christmas. So this pack is actually cheaper than the one from last year. I did question Tim about this. I think it's cheaper than last year. I don't know how you managed to do that, but you cram more resources in it. So you're going to get 250 items for £30, and that even covers the postage. So you're going to get a selection of Life magazines, children's books, tracts, the giveaway books. You're going to get a bit of everything, really. So it should cover all your bases as an individual, for you to be able to reach out to your neighbours, to your friends, to your family with the gospel. So if nothing else, you might think to yourself, do you know what, I'm going to order that Christmas giveaway box because it'll really get me started. If you want to put something outside your front door for people to take, or if you've got a little table in town, it's a really great starting point. And then you can build up from there on other resources if you need them. So I'm just going to talk to you briefly about the Life magazine. This is a magazine now that we've been producing for 5 years. So this is issue 10 of the Life magazine. If you haven't come across it before, it's just a really lovely evangelistic resource to use, which covers both Christian articles, tract articles, testimonies, but also some kind of general interest as well. So this is the cover of the brand new one. It's due in the Workhouse this week. And I'm just going to show you a very short video, which is an overview of what's in this particular one. One of the ways that we can get this magazine out is by door-to-door distribution. You can pay for a postcode that you select around your church or in your area to be sent a copy of the Life magazine. So you don't have to get a team of people together to hand deliver it. It will be sent out automatically, and you'll be able to put your church details on the cover of the magazine at the back as well. So that is a really helpful way for you to be able to cover a larger distance of area. So you can get in touch with Tim if you're interested in taking part in a door-to-door distribution. But if you just want to order 100, 200, 300, you can just deliver them themselves. You can hand them out at your events, or deliver them in whatever way that you see fit. Encourage your congregation to give them out widely. But they do contain 2 tracts as articles, and in this particular one we've got 2 a little bit of an extra biography as well, a testimony biography. So there's lots of opportunities for people to read about how Jesus is impacting people's lives today, and also how it is that they can become a Christian themselves.
Christmas isn't the end, though, right? And I think we want to be clear that we have a goal in mind, not just to get someone to come in and join a carol service or whatever event we're putting on. As good as that may be, we want to encourage people to know the Lord more, and so follow up is key as we do that. So maybe having the best way of following up, maybe to have some Bibles, some New Testaments ready, sitting at the back of your church, so that when folk come in and hear, you can put the Word of God in their hands to go and to read as they leave. Another great way of doing follow-up is to then introduce them to more of the Christian faith, perhaps through a course. So there's all sorts of excellent things, like the Word 1-to-1 that walks them through the gospel, or Christianity Explored that does the same thing, or maybe something like Hope Explored, Life Explored, some of these courses. There's a whole range like Essentials and many more. One that's new is called Discovering Who This Jesus. And at this point, I'm going to ask Roger to unmute himself, and I'm going to bring him up on the video here. Roger, you've popped this. You've kind of been instrumental in putting this course together. What is Discovering Who This Jesus, and what's the purpose behind it?
Yes, well, it was originally done as a DVD, and it was just simply called Who Is This Jesus? It went out in huge numbers, and then it was slightly modernized and broken down into 6 parts. Well, this has been completely redone. Chris Simpkinson, who's at Morelands Bible College, went out to Israel, and they filmed a DVD introducing the person and the work, and of course the cross, the resurrection, and the call of the Lord Jesus on us. So there's this excellent DVD which can either be shown in parts in a small group or in a church, or it can be shown as a whole. I think it's just over an hour long DVD. But then I've also written this little, it's the same size of a DVD, except it's square, book entitled Discovering Who Is This Jesus? Whether there should be a question mark at the end of that, you can discuss yourself. And but it's just a straightforward, clear explanation as to who the person of Christ is and what he did. So they go together. Some people would prefer to just watch a DVD. Some people would prefer to read, but they do go together and can be used as a course, which you can either give away to somebody as an individual or invite people to come and watch as a group. But may I just say, in the run up to Christmas, we've got Halloween coming shortly. There is a brand new tract by Stephen Neal in Dunstable called The Scariest Story of the True Ones. It's very clever. It's just a gospel tract to give to people, maybe not for the very young ones who come knocking on our door, but if you want to give people a real treat, well, give them the gospel with this new tract. And then, of course, we've got the Remembrance Day services, and they are a useful opportunity. We can go around if we're gathering outside, maybe to give everybody one, and people, from my experience, are very receptive. By the way, the Life magazine as well, I think it's wonderful. I order enough to cover my village and the next village every year. But if you want to put them through letterboxes, which to my mind become increasingly difficult, if you have a wooden spoon, it helps you to push it all the way through. Just a little tip. There we are.
It's all about those little hints and tricks, Roger. That's brilliant. Thank you. That's brilliant. And you've also written a little tract for this Christmas as well.
Yes. That's called All I Want for Christmas.
Yes, brilliant.
It's based on the song. Well, when I was a boy, all you wanted for Christmas were your two front teeth. But then they replaced that song by one that was slightly more popular by Mariah Carey. And I've taken that idea. What do we want for Christmas? And what did God want when he came into the world to be the saviour of the world? It's well designed. I'm very happy with it. And yes, it's the new one for this Christmas. I put them in all my round robin letters, so everybody gets at least one, and I'll use them as well in day-to-day conversations with people I meet.
A couple of questions for Mel, actually, if you can unmute yourself. A Christmas Eve box sounds great. What do we put in it to help people with preparing for the next day bit? What do they need to hear, Mel?
So I'd put the passage that's being read the next day on a kind of nicely printed out. I'd put some prayers to use as a family. I would then just include perhaps a couple of tracts and some, like a hot chocolate treat, little bags of hot chocolates, and anything else that you think would be nice at that stage. You could put some gospel-focused Christmas decorations in to make and hang on the tree. There's lots of other kind of little ideas like that you could do, but pretty simple. If you were buying them, people put kind of new pajamas and stuff like that in them, but I think we don't want to go to that expense.
And an open question for any of the panel: has anyone done a Christmas craft night? And if so, what did you do?
We at our church in Lancaster have done a wreath making event, which sounds a bit daunting. And when Tim was speaking earlier, I thought, he's saying he's making a lot of excuses for not being creative. And I would equally say I'm not very creative. However, YouTube is available, as Mel said. And so when we were thinking of doing a craft night, I got onto YouTube and just looked at a few videos and learned how to do it myself. And so far we've done two, one last year and the year before. It's been a very good event for bringing lots of friends in of church family, and had the opportunity to then do a gospel talk at the side of that. So that's been good, and you don't need to worry, can I do it? Go watch a YouTube video. We've also done it very cheaply. You'll probably find in your town or your city, or maybe not in a city, but there's lots of willow bushes around, and lots of people who very, very happily will let you prune them for them. And so I've gone through the week before and chopped down a few willow branches for our event. So you can do it free, but well worth a try.
Gingerbread house decorating, you can buy a kit, usually for £5 of Maldi. really great for teenagers, just to come. They can eat loads of sweets, get really high on sugar. But a lot of people say to me, so that kind of thing is really good in a home. So you could just encourage your children to invite their friends and just do it kind of low key, but then say, oh, but I couldn't do a Christian talk or kind of epilogue type thing. You really could. All you need to do is either say, we all love Christmas. What do we love about Christmas? And go around the table and everyone share. And then say, I love Christmas because I love Jesus. And I'll just tell you why Jesus is so special to me. Or just read the story of Jesus' birth. Just read it from the Bible and say, do you know, we often think there's lots of things in the Bible, in the nativity, but actually let's read what actually is in the story, how it happened. And if you want them to listen, you could play bingo. So every time the word, I don't know, star comes up or angel, or I don't know, they get, they circle it and it's first one to get full house, or just do a quiz at the end to see how they listened and engaged. So you can do it. Just do it. Yeah, go for it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Hannah. Hannah, I'm very aware you've got teens in your family. Like that bingo idea is top notch. Do you have any other wisdom that you can share for how to encourage those guys?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Mel said. I think, as adults, we want to reach teenagers, but actually if teenagers can reach teenagers, it's much more powerful. And I think the more we can equip them, the better. I would just say, though, teenagers are for life. They're not just for Christmas. Well, actually, 7 years or whatever it is. But don't just bombard them at Christmas and forget them the rest of the year. They are people that need love, and teenagers need consistency. So just bear that in mind as you think. And I would just I would brainstorm every teenager that you know. So your nieces, your nephews, your own children, the people in church, the people who live down the street, the person who delivers your newspaper, and think, what can you do to encourage that person where they're at? So you might have Christian teenagers who are super, super keen. Brilliant. What can you do to encourage them? And then you might have somebody who's just totally, if they say hi to you in the street, you're doing really well. And just go for an individual approach for them. I've got loads of things here that I just picked up in the 10 of Those bookshop last week. So Pilgrim's Progress would be a really good book for somebody who, Christian or not Christian, but able to read and think, maybe an older teenager. There's little 3-minute devotionals. So it's a really great stocking filler for somebody. And then they've got shed loads of new fiction for children, girls and boys. There's loads. I couldn't pick them all up. So just have a look. It may be that is the level that someone's at, just kind of the Harry Potter type reader. That's what they might like. Or if they're really sporting, something like that would be really good for them. So think what you can give them. And then just how you can equip them. So one of my sons has got a CU. He has to get the bus to school. So kind of the idea of doing like buying 100 donuts and 100 books and doing a table at lunchtime saying, come and get a free donut and a free book is a really good idea, but really hard to do logistically. And maybe as a church, you can equip your teenagers to do that, and maybe just stand by them, or maybe not too close to them because you might not be cool enough, but just kind of take the donuts into school and meet them, and then just say, I'll be around the corner, I'll be praying for you for this next 25 minutes. So how can you kind of encourage them to do that? And the Christmas card idea, I just think send your teenagers a Christmas card. We as adults get family Christmas cards, but why not just write to them as an individual and say, I love seeing you in church every week. I know it's hard, but it really encourages me to see you there. Or I know you've got a tough year this year. You've got exams coming up. I'll be praying for you, just to show that you care and that you love them. So I would just encourage you to do something. And food, definitely have food for teenagers, my boys, anything with food and loads of it. Just go for an abundance, draws them in. So for boys, have a pizza and a games night at your house, and again just share the gospel with them, or just chat to them over food. But I just encourage you to do something. I think teenagers, sometimes people are just a bit scared of them, but actually you can just reap the most wonderful rewards by usually one-to-one just talking to them and caring for them.
Thank you for joining us.